Are you starting a business and you're getting into the product testing phase? This is where things start to get fun.
What's the most interesting career pivot you've seen someone make?
There's this guy who used to be a professional clown, and now he's a consultant.
That's
Because
really
he
funny.
knows it's full of clownery.
Oh my god, there's so many jokes you can make with that.
That's so funny.
I'm Shivani from Let's Circle Back Games, and I'm documenting my business startup process. In this startup series, I'm documenting everything that's happened in my business through Q1, which for me is March 2024. In episode 1 of the startup series, we talked about coming up with an idea for a product, doing research, and writing business plans. In episode 2, we talked about LLCs, EINs, domains, banks, trademarks, and business licenses and permits. And all that kind of back-end work is kind of solitary in nature. So that's why I'm excited to talk about episode 3, where we're getting into product testing, and specifically since I am a card game business, we're talking about game testing, which is very interactive and very fun. Stay tuned, because in this video, we're going to talk about all my experiences with game testing, lessons learned, and even some clips from my game testing sessions. Before Q1, before I officially started the business, I already did do some game testing sessions, but Q1 of the business is where the game testing sessions became formalized in nature. Before that, they were more ad hoc. I didn't film them. There was no structure to the sessions. So Q1's really where the official game testing and product testing begins. I did 8 game testing sessions in this quarter, 5 in January and 3 in March. So the 5 game testing sessions I did in January were based off of 1 prototype. I got everyone's feedback during the January game testing sessions. Some of that feedback was about the visuals, and some was more fundamental about the rules and the flow of the game. And with that feedback, I also filmed it so that I could look back at the feedback. So with that feedback, I was able to make my edits, send the edits to the printer. I used the Game Crafter. And then after about 6 weeks, I got the new prototype back in the mail to me and was able to start doing some more game testing sessions in March with a prototype that was a lot closer to finalization. I filmed those sessions, made my edits, sent it back to the printer, and that led us to the end of March and the finalization of the last version of the prototype, which I was very excited about. The way I planned out the sessions was by creating a Google form, both for January and then later for March, where I stated the purpose of the game testing sessions, gave some logistical details, and in the Google form, I had a multiple options, multiple choice question where you can check off multiple days and time slots when you are available. And then with that information, I would make a spreadsheet and match people into different groups and then send them a calendar hold from my business email account, which said the address and any logistical details and reminders. And I distributed this Google form in January 1st by just texting it to all my various friends who I know work in consulting as well, since the target audience of the game is people that work in consulting, like myself. And then in the March session, I really wanted to make sure people were available and that I got enough people to test the game out, because I thought I was really close to finalizing the prototype. So I did text it out to my friends again, but I also had to blast it out on my LinkedIn. And LinkedIn was acceptable in this case because it is a work-themed game, and being a consultant myself, my network has a lot of consultants in it, so it did fit for my situation. And I also sent it out to my email list as well, which I'd already started to develop back in February, so a month prior. And to that, I would say, definitely, if you're doing game testing sessions, text it out to all your friends. If it is relevant to your professional presence and your professional career, post about it on LinkedIn. And if not, definitely go for other social media where you might have more connections that are in the target audience for your game or your product. I did the game testing sessions at my home, but I was comfortable doing that because I knew everyone who signed up personally to do the game testing session. So I was comfortable with having them in my home. But just keep in mind, if you open up the game testing sessions or product testing sessions you're doing to the public, like posting it more largely on your LinkedIn or on your other social media, if people sign up that you are not personally already friends or acquaintances with, maybe consider booking a space in the public library instead to do your game testing sessions. And something else I learned to include when I did my Google form in March that I didn't do in January was including a question on the Google form about, are you comfortable being filmed or not? Because I wanted to film the game testing sessions because it's kind of like a focus group for me in order to make sure I'm capturing all the feedback. But then I also wanted to be able to use that footage possibly to make social media content in the future.
Be yourself.
So I put in a question of, are you comfortable being on social media? Yes, no, other. And I also did explain in that question that I would, if someone was uncomfortable with being on social media, that I would not use their face in any videos. And also that for everyone, I plan on sending any video clips that have them in it to them prior for their approval so that everyone is comfortable. And even if someone consents in the Google form to being filmed, I would just double check once again when they're there at the game testing session that they're comfortable. And even if they give the blanket okay with being filmed, before you post any social media clips of them, just send it to them for their approval, because sometimes you might forget what you've said, or out of context it might sound in a way that they don't want. So just keep that in mind. And that's definitely a priority for me to respect all of the game testers.
It's being filmed, yeah. Wait, like, let me check. Like, I did put the camera on, right?
It's okay.
Yeah, it's been running for a minute.
That's so
But I'll delete it, you know. I'll, like, revise.
You got it.
We're actually live streaming on Twitch right now.
Another lesson I learned was that it was actually easier to get people to go to game testing sessions in January. If you noticed, I said earlier I had 5 game testing sessions in January and only 3 in March. So I'm really grateful that I did my game testing sessions in January to begin with, because I think that in the colder weather after the holidays, people had fewer social plans, so they were willing to come over and do the game testing. As the weather heats up and people get more social plans, it's a little harder. You might have to plan a little further in advance to get people to come to game or product testing sessions. Another challenge with the March game testing sessions that I encountered was I really wanted to find enough people to all come to a game testing session to test out the game with a max of 8 players. Because the way I did the math, the game would work with 3 to 8 players, and I had done a lot of game testing sessions with smaller groups, but not with 8 players. And unfortunately, even though there were a lot of people who were interested in doing game testing sessions, I could never find a common time to get 8 people together at once. But my workaround for that was having a group of 4 play, pretending to be 2 characters per person. So that was how I resolved that. And it was really helpful to make sure that I know the timing and the flow and even modify the instructions a little for larger groups. So when it comes to the actual game testing sessions, I filmed all of them on my phone with a tripod. And in some cases I was a player, and in some cases I was an observer. But I always had a notebook with me to take notes on the feedback that people were giving me live. Here's the newest prototype. I think it'd be helpful to play the game, get feedback on the game. I'm looking for fatal flaws, so like, as they say, because like I know there'll always be something that various people will have like thoughts on, but I'm like, what does like makes the game non-functional at this point is like my concern. And then I want to go, like, once you guys see the inside, I want you guys to give some feedback on the box itself and like what, from a visual and like a writing perspective, can be done to like best
get like viewers' attention or like shoppers' attention like on the box.
Mm.
Because yeah, already gave me some thoughts of like making like this like more dynamic and colorful and like shapes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess it'd be more helpful to play first so you guys know what the game is. Yeah, so that the outside represents what's on the inside.
In the box.
Sure.
This is awesome. This is hype as hell.
And although sometimes my game testers gave me feedback unprompted, I also had questions in mind to ask them about the game. These questions ranged from questions about the visuals, like do you like the logo, do you like the colors, do you like the design, the font size, that sort of thing, but also questions about the flow of the game, like is this wording clear? Do I need an instruction manual or do you want the instructions on the box? Other questions included questions about if you were in my shoes, how would you market this game? So really a wide variety of questions. Oh, questions about should there be time limits on the game? So lots of different things. And I got a lot of wonderful feedback that I'm so appreciative of. And the last lesson I learned from this process is that when it comes to filming the game testing sessions from start to all of the analysis and discussion afterwards, I was filming multiple like 2-hour long videos on my phone, and it was starting to really eat up the storage on my phone to the point where it was saying iCloud was like no longer backing up, and it was starting to make me nervous. Part of it was filming the game testing sessions. The other part of it, which was the main culprit, was CapCut, which is an editing app, and it took up so much storage. So my warning there is don't keep all of your videos on your phone. Try to take them off of the iCloud and transfer them to an external hard drive or to your computer. And even I tried transferring my videos, the raw footage, to Google Drive, and it took up like half my Google Drive just like that. So that was not a solution. So I instead started putting this all on an external hard drive, which I'd never used before, but it turns out external hard drives are huge. Like, oh my gosh, look at this thing. In order to use it, you have to like even plug it into, lesson learned. Be careful. Don't let your storage get eaten up by all of the filming and any editing you're doing on your phone. So that's all we have today. I hope this video is helpful to learn about product testing sessions, or in my case, card game testing sessions. I would highly recommend doing game testing and product testing before you put your product out on the market. This is a great opportunity to get feedback and fine-tune the game in a more safe space than if it's already out on the market and it's not really easy for you to change the game afterwards. And it's also a great opportunity to gather content that you can in the future use on social media and your marketing and your advertising. But that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you have any other questions or topics you want me to talk about, and stay tuned for the next video in the startup series, which will be all about marketing and communications. Thanks. Bye.
From clowning the kids to clowning the adults.
And honestly, I heard clown schools are low-key kind of hard to get into. like a soul-filling like job jump to like a soul-sucking.
To what pays the bills.
Yeah, like my dude was like,
he should have gone to.
you can have my soul.
He should have gone to a Renaissance fair. He would have had. He would have been solid there.